Alright everybody, welcome to the Rose of Segunda. This is a game by Blackcross and Taylor. They made a couple other games. I found this on itch.io. I was bored, so I'm like, you know what, I need something to play for a quick look to do something on the channel, and I found this, and it seems pretty interesting. Segunda, if you didn't know, is Spanish for second. I don't think that has anything to do with it, but there you go. I'd be careful with this game because every time I go to the options menu, the game likes to crash on me. So let's just take a gamble, shall we? Okay, let's start. I'm standing beside the window gazing out from a room I won't see again for a while. Or perhaps ever. To think that in but 2 short weeks I may be engaged into the future king, no less. Even after all these years preparing for this moment, it just does not feel real. This game is actually set to release on the 6th of April. So I thought, oh, that's pretty soon. Do a quick look of it. The free demo you can download. I don't know how much the game will cost when it releases, but it could be free. I don't know. There's not much information on that, but of course, Mother has had it planned since the moment of my birth. Oh, one of those arranged marriages? With a prince born to the ruling family but 2 years before. As soon as I was discovered to be a girl, my mother saw this as our family's chance to regain our former power, you know, marry somebody with status and money and all that fun stuff. For she has been keen to remind her household it was but 7 generations ago that a Parisi sat upon the throne. And so now I must join the many other young nobles at the palace for what is ostensibly a celebration of Crown Prince Guillaume's 20th birthday, though I doubt even he believes that. Guillaume? Is that how you pronounce that? Boy, I'm probably butchering that. It had been the tradition that 20 is the age when the crown prince or princess marries. Princesses are encouraged to marry the strong, the clever, and the powerful men who could be kings. Princes, on the other hand, Segunda had a queen once, over 300 years ago. Segunda is apparently the land. That makes a lot more sense. She had not been born to the throne, but when the king died, she refused to step down and waged war against those dukes and marquises who would have seen her replaced from amongst themselves. Makes sense. She was not the victor, though. And now history paints her as a power-hungry tyrant. Be it a true account of her character or not, since then all chosen brides of the royal family have been of a very similar disposition. Meek, mild, and without a thought in their pretty little heads. In the salon outside, the sounds of my mother arguing with Frederique drift through the wood, muted, but still quite audible. I cannot believe you would send your only daughter off like this. She has always known this was planned. It is her duty. Something the other members of this family understand. Do you think I wish to spend the last decade overseeing her education? Or every spare moment at court flattering the king to ensure we remain where we belong, as the most powerful, most prestigious house in the kingdom? Of course I did not, but it was my obligation, and I bore it without complaint. Duty. There's that word again. I must go for duty. Frederique must accompany me for duty. That word seems to be the cause and consequence of everything that happens in this house. Duty. But then, after today, I won't be in this house. You know, I always wondered, the stresses of royalty, and everyone thinks, oh, they have it so easy, right? But I don't think they do. A lot of stress to be put on somebody. The jovial rap upon the door starts me from my musings. Minette, are you decent? Goodness, Frederique, cease up using that ridiculous pet name. Your sister is a grown woman. Are you ready? Oh, I can put my name? Oh, what should we name ourselves? You know what? I saw this. I was watching the Swan Princess the other day, so we're gonna name ourselves Odette. There you go. Ah, it's such a good movie. Odette, what are you doing just standing there? Come along. The coach has been waiting all morning. Oh my, pray forgive me, mother, for I had not realized the hour. Do not bother using your pretty manners on me. I know well enough your true nature, though I am glad at least you're ready for the pretense. Now, Odette, you know for whom the king will be looking. An even-tempered, modest girl hasn't a thought in her head. You know, just a wall decoration, essentially. That's right, sister. I hope you are ready to put your years of education to good use as the next royal lord. Odette does not have to be an idiot. She merely needs to present herself as one. Oh, you know, that doesn't sit right with me. To be who you are. Like, if you gotta sit there and like dumb yourself down so that someone will like you, then, you know, you don't need to be with them. I mean, obviously this is all arranged and it's a lot more complicated, but that's my stance on the matter. There are subtler ways to exert one's influence once one is married. And why should she play such games? Why can't she just speak her mind? It is insulting. I see Frederique knows what I'm getting at. Insulting? That is a fair assessment from you. Lazy scoundrel, you are such a shame to the family, spending your days carousing with your friends and racking up debts in every gambling house in town. What else would you have me do? I am the younger son. Frederique is heir and learning his role from father. There's no need for me. If you would just let me take on a profession and have the gossip crowing about how we can't afford to keep you. Certainly not. Crowing, sorry. Oh my. What poor luck we've had of late. With Master Bertrand still abed, I cannot be spared from the estate. And then your father and Frederique send word they are delayed at the Southern Holdings. I'm butchering that name, I know. I'm so sorry. How I wished your brother had returned in time to escort Odette in your stead. My mother's complaints are silenced by a polite knock. Bastien, the son of our house steward, appearing in the doorway to bow. Mistress, the rest of the trunks have been taken down to the coach. Good, thank you, Bastien. At least I know there is to be one level head among your trio. Oh. In place of Master Bertrand, I will be relying upon you to ensure matters run smoothly, and to inform me the instant they do not. I will endeavor not to disappoint the trust you and my father have placed in me, my lady. Indeed. And you, Odette, have you finished your packing? Oh, not quite. Fine, well, we'll wait outside. Come, Frederique. Bastien, go and tell the coachman you will be departing shortly. My mother hurries the men out before her and the door slams shut. I pause a moment. I know what's lost in the sudden stillness. Motes of dust sparkling in the light from the window at my back. It is too late now for wool gathering. I should finish packing. The trunk? It's too full. What to take out? Oh wow. This was not a choice I was expecting to make. Okay, what should we take out? A book entitled Hard Arithmetic for Young Ladies. A bottle of Burkhart's Fireproof Whiskey and my toothbrush. You know what? We gotta take this out because then we're not gonna seem like we're an idiot, right? I mean, let's be honest, this was this time period, so hard arithmetic for young ladies was probably like 2 times 2 or something. Not insulting women, I'm just saying, you know, that's how it kind of was back then. Well, I'm only going for 2 weeks. Advanced alchemy in the abridged works of Rodagio should be enough. Finally packed, I summoned a servant from my trunk and joined my brother for a hasty farewell. Now take care, Odette, and remember all our hope rides with you. All of it. We love you too, Mother. With a rumble, the coach sets out along the gravel drive, and I have to fight not to turn and take a last glimpse of the house. Frederique is inside with me, while Bastien has his place next to the driver. My brother seems to sense I do not wish to talk, and for a while, we travel in silence. Outside the window, the world rushes by in the familiar farmlands and distant hills which make up our province of Florentia, as picturesque as a painting brought to life. The Parisi hold more land than any other noble house in the kingdom, including the monarchs. In fact, I would say our power and influence among the nobles rivals that of the ruling family, and I wonder, for what feels like the 100th time, why my mother is so obsessed with the crown. My brother is clearly enjoying the scenery as I am. A waymarker for the next town catching Frederique's eye, and he glances to me with a smile. Well, we are making good time at least. We should reach Tivoli well before sundown. Yes. You know, there is nothing to say that once we arrive in the town, we even have to leave it. 2 weeks carousing with your older brother does not sound so objectionable, does it? I imagine Mother would raise plenty of objections when she got word that we had not arrived at the palace. Well, she should not be sending you in the first place. Having to live a lie just to get a husband. And also, Mother can boast about our family's return to the crown. Do you truly plan to go through with all this? Are you going to bow to Mother's demands and court the prince? You know what? I don't know yet. You know what? Let's play it by ear. Well, without meeting the prince or seeing the others, I just cannot decide yet. Well, whatever you choose, I will support you. I'm your man to the last, Odette. We share a smile, and the comfortable silence descends again, holding us until the driver somewhere above pulls the coach to a stop with a shout. Outside, the sky is a deep amber and setting the once verdant meadows ablaze, the faded blue of twilight just creeping in over the eastern hills. The town walls of Tivoli are looming from the road before us, a collection of inns and taverns huddled before the gates as though they, too, crave the shelter within. Ah, we've reached Tivoli. That's odd. The gates are shut. Above me, I hear Bastien's frustrated tones. Guardsmen, why are the gates closed? Why? Everyone knows the town gates shut at sundown. You'll have to get a berth in one of the inns outside the walls. So that was his game. He likely has an arrangement with one of the inns here to send the last few arrivals to their doors. We will do no such thing. We have rooms already prepared within the town, and it is an hour yet until sunset. Well, now it seems we have a slight disagreement here. I suppose I better tell them just who we are. No, do not bother. I shall get us inside. Guardsman! If you wish to delay our meeting with Sir Bernardine, then be my guest. Oh dear, can't you of town afford as much daylight as the rest of Florentia? Be reasonable, man! Oh, well, we don't want to be a jerk, right? I mean, it's all kind of jerky, I guess, but except for this one. Do this one. The mayor. Indeed, we are to inform him of his recent promotion to the Baronet of Xalandi. Baronet, maybe? Probably Baronet. Now, I'm sure I can find the moment to mention how his guards refused us entry. Refused? No, this is a mere misunderstanding, my lady. The gates are open to all guests of the mayor, night or day. The coach stutters forward once more, clattering between the gateposts into the emptying streets. The townsfolk are returning to their homes and families with the dusk, the welcoming glow of each window gilding the cobbles at our feet. Gilding the cobbles at our feet. Well, that makes a lot more sense. Some shout greetings to each other as they pass, and I wonder, not for the first time, what such a life would be like. Some, simple, without the pressures of wealth and status. Across the carriage, my brother lounges against the plush velvet cushions with a proud smile. Well done, sister. You got us past that fool with but a word. Oh, it was no trouble. I know you do not like throwing our name about. No, I do not. Makes me feel too much like a friend Coyce. Ah, here we are. The inn Bastien has arranged is a large building over 2 stories, an archway set through the center leading to the wide courtyard where the stables and coach house are situated. Inside it is hardly as well appointed as my house, but it is clean and comfortable, the young maid showing me to my room, blonde curls bouncing with every step from beneath her starched linen cap. Majority of our trunks are stored in Bastien's room, the maid reappearing at my door only a quarter hour after leaving me to hand me my small travel case, and to take a moment to tidy my clothes and hair before joining my brother in a private parlor to take our evening meal. I am told the maid will be arriving shortly with your dishes, and there is a footman outside, should you have any requirements in the meantime. Oh, well, thank you, Bastien, but if that will be all, I will retire to my room. Please do not hesitate to alert me, should you need anything. Bastien bows and turns smartly on his heel, the click of the door cutting off any more I could have said. He didn't stay long. No, he probably didn't think it was proper, and to think there was a time we considered him a brother. Well, you don't? That's kind of a jerk thing to say. Now you are kept always at your lessons. Bastien and Francois set their differing duties, and I spend most of my time at the university. It is the weird household of strangers. Oh, okay, well, that makes a little more sense now that you kind of explained it. Even us? Ha! Never us, Minette. I should write a letter to you over any essay or examination the university would care to set, though it could cost me my degree. Pray don't. If you fail another term, Mother will only send you even further away. We can't have that. And what does it matter if I fail every subject they set in front of me? Mother will not let any of it lead to a career, even if I pass. They only enrolled me to keep me occupied. Heaven forfend I actually become a useful member of the family. At least you are allowed to attend. The way your dean talks, my feeble female mind would not even survive a single lecture. Ha! I am always surprised when educated men speak such nonsense. Besides, I do not know why you should want to bother. With a good 12 years of private tutors behind you, you've had a better education than most of the graduates. But would you even wish to study if you could? Oh, wow. Well, I would find it interesting to study mathematics. I have always enjoyed philosophy. Well, music is my favorite subject. Learning more about history would be fascinating. I would like to advance my foreign languages. I enjoy books, so studying literature would be wonderful. I have no burning desire to attend. It's just annoying they refuse to admit me on principle. Ooh, you know what? We seem like a lady who would like to learn more about foreign tongues. I know I can speak Danshin and Barbasquez. I can't even pronounce it, but I can speak it, I assure you. I can speak those languages well enough, but it would be wonderful to have the opportunity to learn something from further afield, like Barsidi or Cantoon. Okay, are those real languages? I don't think they are. I suppose so, but I wonder how often you'll have an opportunity to use it. My brother sighs and leans forward to rest his chin on his steepled fingers. Ah, seems an age since we've been able to sit together and talk like this. And yet, all too soon, it has come to an end. I rouse him from his brooding with a slap on the arm. Come now, there is no point in dwelling on what's to come. Let us enjoy our time together as we may. A knock at the door behind us. Ah, and that must be the maid. Please come in. I am correct in my assumption, an older woman entering bearing a large tray of simple but what turns out to be quite delicious dishes, and my brother finally abandons his melancholy air. We talk and laugh as we eat, Frederique regaling me with stories from the university, his life so packed with boating trips, drinking parties, and pranks. I am surprised he even has time to fit in his classes. Our meal finished, we retire to our rooms and to bed, and I find I sleep surprisingly well under the circumstances. With another day of traveling ahead, Bastien wakes us early, and I am dressed and leaving my room with the dawn, but a few steps carry me to the next door along the hallway where I attempt to rouse my brother similarly. Frederique, are you ready? I shall just be a moment. Minette, you go on ahead. As you will. Turning my heel and almost barrel into the broad chest suddenly before me, the man dancing back a step in his mirrored alarm. Oh, excuse me, I am sorry. Your pardon, my lady. He recovers himself before I do, the slightest of smiles taking the edge from piercing gray eyes as he bows with an easy grace. Even at this hour, the courtyard is as bustle of people. Our coach is already out, Bastien overseeing the reining of the horses, while a lone stable-hand is struggling to load our luggage back onto the roof, his fellows still idling at the kitchen door finishing their breakfasts. The young man looks to be having trouble. Perhaps I could help him in some way? Order the other stable-hands to join in. Help him yourself. Help him? I am too occupied admiring him. We'll help him. The instant I make my decision, his foot catches on a flagstone, the trunk in his arms faltering, and I just manage to dive in to catch it. My lady! Here, I have this one. Why do you not go and stand upon the driver's ledge, and I will pass it up to you? The coach loaded. Frederique joins us, and we set out once again. An hour or so after we depart Tivoli, we cross the river Esquine and leave my home of Florentia to enter the royal province of Dakar. We are fortunate that our own province's borders the king's. Many other groups will have had far more arduous journeys to undertake to reach the palace. As for Dakar itself, the land is flatter than Florentia, large swathes of it covered in dense forest, which make for a rather dull journey. The road we traveled plunging up into one soon after we crossed the river and leaving little to look at but the same unending wall of trees. It is not far now, though, and by the early afternoon our coach leaves the shelter of the forest road, and the palace is laid out before us, gold under the sinking sun. Well, there it is, sister, the prize for which you will all be competing. I nod absently. This is not my first visit to the palace, but there is a weight to my arrival now, the expectations of a whole family resting upon my shoulders. The coach enters the curve of the drive, and the palace windows flash white like a dozen eyes blinking in unison, eager to get a good look at the newcomer. I can see even from this distance, a group of people has gathered before the steps. An older gentleman in fine robes stepping forward from the huddle of servants as our coach pulls up. The man waits patiently for Bastien to leap down and help me step from the carriage, before bowing deeply. Greetings to you, Lady Odette de Parisi, and to your brother, Lord Frederique. I am the King's Seneschal, Corin, and I am honored to bid you welcome to the Crown Prince's birthday celebrations. Seneschal? Is that how you say that? Dip your face and shyly curtsy. Bob a polite curtsy. Heartily shake his hand. We're going to be polite. Well met, my lord. The seneschal returns my greeting with a nod and a smile. Indeed. Well, please allow me to have you escorted to your rooms. Margaret. A young maid hurries forward to curtsy quickly. Margaret escorts the de Parsis to their rooms. Yes, my lord. This way, please. We follow the maid up the steps into the huge doors into the palace. Inside, it is just as I remembered. A sea of fine rugs cover the polished marble floors, while rich tapestries and paintings crowd the walls. The whole effect is one of grandeur, and very consciously so. Each rare piece seemingly added not to delight, but press an idea of wealth all-encompassing, of power absolute. The maid leads the way up to the second floor and down the long hallway, other servants pausing to bow as we pass through, but does not stop. Bastien from closing the gap between us. Well, that went well enough. I don't know why I was so nervous. You have trained for this almost your entire life. Why, thank you, Bastien. I know I make it look simple, but it's nice all the same to be recognized for one's efforts. I did not mean. Oh, never mind. Here, my lord, this will be your room. Ah, my thanks. My lady, you will be in here. The maid leads us into a large, well-appointed room, several pieces of fine furniture, all vying for attention. The extravagant four-poster bed with its cloud of pillows should be the clear winner, though it is not the piece which catches my eye. Before the windows, a large table is soaking up the last of the day's light, and I realize with some relief that, though still not a certainty, this inclusion is the first sign that I will not be taking all my meals under the scrutiny of the court. Thank you, miss. Do you require anything more before I leave, my lady? Your luggage will be brought up in but a moment, and there is water behind the screen for washing. Well, if you could direct me to your library. The maid falters, ever so slightly. Thank you, that will be all. Yes, sir. The door closes with a soft click and Bastien sighs deeply. Lady Odette, I am tired, Bastien. Allow me to save my act for when it is truly important. A fair request, but as it is, you will have little time to enjoy it. There will be a ball tonight. A good chance to meet not only the king and prince, but also those other ladies who one might class as your rivals. The Duchess de Passy has studied this matter intensely. There are many other ladies in attendance, but the ones you must be on guard for are Francesca d'Allegri, from the lower barony of Surs, but cunning as a fox. Albertine Parsouf, an excellent musician and hostess with an irritating laugh. And Charlotte de Souza, intensely pretty and current holder of the title Stupidest Creature in the Kingdom. Well, at least you have been paying attention to your lessons. It is known that these young women all hold the favor of the king, and you would be wise to keep an eye on them. Oh, I intend to do more than that. After all is fair in love and war. Please do not do anything to cause trouble, my lady. Polite knock on the door forestalls any further lecturing. Enter. Oh, pardon, my lady, but I have been sent to help you with your attire for this evening's reception. Well, that is my cue to depart. Please, Lady Odette, tonight behave as any proper, well-bred young noblewoman. And not the strong, cunning scholar you know and love. Things I put up with. An hour to dress, and Frederique arrives as arranged to escort me through the bustling corridors to the grand hall where we join the rest of the court. Nobles of every station gathered before the throne. Considering we are here for a celebration, it is quieter than I expected, and I can feel a tension over the room, like the air before a storm. How many of these people will actually enjoy tonight? Well, I know of one who certainly doesn't plan to. My brother is slouched next to me and looking as though it is taking all the effort he possesses not to just collapse where he stands. Come along, Frederique. You can't be bored already. It's barely begun. I'm not bored, sister. At least not yet. Did you feel it? The atmosphere here. Choking. Yes, I know what you mean. It's like something is crushing me. Not outside. Within. Frederique glances about us, craning to examine others in the crowd. This surely cannot all be over vying for the prince. Half of those here don't even have a dog in that fight. No offense. None taken. At that instant, the faint murmuring about us dies and the room seems to straighten as a figure steps onto the dais. Lords and ladies of the court, His Majesty King Augustine. Lords and ladies of the court, His Majesty King August of Segunda. The sensual seems to fade into the background, or perhaps his presence merely cannot compete with the arrival of His Majesty King August, ascending the dais in robes of gold and red, like a phoenix taking flight. Is it Augusta? I think that's how you actually say that. A rainbow of jewels encircles his fingers, throat and brow, bright against coffee-hued skin. His dark hair is streaked with gray, though. For a man who was 10 years on my own father, he looks hale. An even smile that gives little away, gracing his noble features. My honored court, allow me to welcome you here on behalf of my beloved son, Guillaume. I know he is as eager to celebrate his birthday as you all are to share it with him, and I am sure he will come to know some of you very well over the next fortnight. We're here for 2 weeks? Aw, man. Well, for this evening, please enjoy the festivities. At his nod, the orchestra opens with a stately waltz, and the crowd about us moves to disperse. Well, this is it then. I'm sure the prince will be touring the room later, though, when he reaches us as anyone's guess. Oh, you don't have to wait with me, you know. I bet half the young men here have already stolen away to play cards. Why don't you go and find them? Really, you don't mind? Of course not. That's not the point in both of us suffering. Besides, I can assess the competition while you're gone. Bastien will be so proud. You are an angel, Odette. Here, Gregory. My brother bounds off after his friend, another young man no doubt making a stealthy exit. And now we wait. My, such a melancholy aspect. I thought this was to be a celebration. I turn at the familiar voice, the words leaving my lips before I can stop them. The gentleman from the inn. I am honored you recall me, though I fear I have the advantage here, Lady de Parisi. I apologize. Please allow me to introduce myself. Leopold Stavizzi, at your service. The Duke of Tremaine. The very same. I feel my suspicions rise and take care to ensure nothing of them shows on my face. The lessons my mother had me learn by rote echo about in my head, and I can almost hear her voice at my ear, repeating the words in silent duet. Once a power in the kingdom surpassed only by the Parisi, the house of Stavizzi fell into ruin but 15 years ago due to mismanagement and poor connections. The bulk of their lands were divided up and sold off, and all worthy companies shielded from them, lest they be tarnished too. Shied from them, sorry. The old Duke of Tremaine died a few years after the scandal, leaving his son to inherit his title and his disfavor. The man before me merely smiles. He likely knows what I'm thinking, but what else can he do? We must all play the game. It is a pleasure to finally meet you, Lady de Parisi. Please, Odette is fine. Very well. I've heard you often spoke. I have heard you often spoken of here at court, Lady Odette. And yet this is the first time I believe we've met. My mother prefers to represent her family in that regard, and that she does. Would that I had a willing relative to shoulder such a pleasure on my behalf, but alas, it is mine alone. Still, this celebration provides many new faces. Tell me, are you here to win the prince, just like every other giddy young lady in the room? Why, I don't know what you mean. Certainly not. Why, are you hoping to try your chances? And that is why I've been sent here, but none of your business. Yes, I am. That's why I've been sent here, but you know what, we might have reservations. That is likely the most honest answer to that question that will ever be heard. Though I doubt many here will appreciate your truthfulness. Yes, you will be one to watch. Until next we meet, Lady Odette. I watch as the Duke's back disappears into the crowds once more. Though through the throng I can see many familiar faces, though no one I particularly wish to talk to right now. At the back of the room, servers are busy setting out dishes for food, and it strikes me that I had not had anything to eat since the snatched meal at noon. If Frederique were here, I could send him off for a plate, which I could then surreptitiously pick, but as it is, I will have to brave the horde myself. I take a step from my haven at the room's edge, trying to avoid the jostling crowds when... Oh, your pardon, my lady. No matter, I should have been watching where I was going. I do not believe I recognize you, and I thought I would know all the ladies in attendance. I am Odette de Parisi, the daughter of Duke Claude of Florentia, and I am pleased to make your acquaintance. I'm Sophie Veniti of the city of Garluccio. It is a pleasure to meet you. Way too early for this. I do not recognize the name, and that can mean only one thing. She is not of the nobility. As though she can see this thought upon my face, she giggles lightly. I have never seen such a magnificent building before. Father was so fortunate to receive an invitation from me. And Master Veniti, he is... Why, Father is the head of the Goldsmiths Guild. Wealthy and powerful. I can see how this young lady secured her invitation. Garluccio is famed for its fine jewelry. Master Veniti must be a very important man. Oh, I don't really know about that. I just spend my days sewing and playing with my kitten, Souffle, sorry. He is a Peruvian white and ever so fluffy. How rare. I had heard they must be imported from Perugia on special ships. Well, that is what the importers say, but I believe they originated as an offshoot of the Dacre longhairs that were then selectively bred with the white... She stopped suddenly, a hand clamped to her mouth as though she had just uttered the vilest of oaths. You're not as stupid as you seem, are you? I would just assume that she was stupid. Oh, do not worry. I do not imagine many of these girls are. It is the prince I pity. He might actually be the stupidest one of the lot. You really do just say what you think, don't you? To you, certainly. I'm not trying to marry you. I do not know what to say to that. I do not care, but if you tell anyone what I said, then... Yeah. Why don't you tell me more about your theory? Say what you want. No one will believe a commoner over a lady. Say whatever you wish. I have no intention of pursuing the prince anyway. No one that seems kind of a jerk thing to say. Tell me more about your theory. I would like that, but I do not believe this is the time or the place. Perhaps if we meet again, then. Perhaps so. Please excuse me, my lady. Sophia dips a curtsy and trips off through the crowd, leaving me to continue my path over to the table. A tantalizing selection of dishes are currently being appreciated by the attending noblemen and those noblewomen too old to care. Proper young ladies do not have appetites. They do not eat at all, in fact. I gaze longingly at the food, my mother's strict lectures rooting me in place with indecision. Shall I grab something small and stuff it whole into my mouth? Try to resist the temptation, or just take something from the table and eat it? We're hungry, do it. All this nonsense about not showing an appetite, on what do they think young ladies subsist? Sunshine and compliments? I have an interesting looking pastry covered in cheese and anchovies. You anchovies. And I'm about to halfway through it when... Are you enjoying the food, I hope, my lady? And there before me is Crown Prince Guillaume, the next in line to the throne of Segunda. Oh no, bad first impression. Yes, I am indeed, your highness. Forgive me, though, we were formally introduced when you were presented to court. It was some years ago now. I am Guillaume. It is a pleasure to meet with you again, Lady de Parisi. Oh, the pleasure is mine, your highness. Please, I insist you call me Guillaume. If you will but call me Odette. The deal is struck, then. Though it has been a long time since I saw you at court, I know the Duchess attends my father here regularly. How is she faring? I left my mother in good health. And your father, the Duke. He is away at the moment out of the southern holdings with my eldest brother Francois. My eldest brother Frederique attends me here. I am glad to hear it. The conversation, if you could call it that, lulls, and I wonder if the princess is bored of these niceties as I am. So, are you enjoying the gathering tonight? Yes, very much, thank you. Well, the conversation is a little dry, kind of like these appetizers. To be honest, I am fonder of more physical pursuits. Oh, I adore a gathering like this. You can learn all sorts of secrets. You know what? We'll just go straight. Yeah, we're enjoying ourselves. Well, good. That's good. Across the room, the king somehow manages to catch Guillaume's eye. I recognize a summons when I see one. Ah, seems my father has need of me. It has been a pleasure, Lady Odette. If you will excuse me. I watch him leave and turn back to the room, my path suddenly blocked by swaths of colored silk and three faces with whom I am more than acquainted. Oh, was that the prince? How can you even ask that, Lady Charlotte? Who else would be with such countenance, such an aura of regal perfection, such... Ah, Lady Albertine, you forget yourself in your ardor. Lady de Parisi, it is an honor to meet you once again. Likewise, Lady Francesca. And is that not Lady Albertine and Lady Charlotte as well? How are you enjoying these festivities? Why, the splendor of such surrounding, coupled with the illustrious company, makes me almost faint. Almost faint. Ah! And they have a blanc mange in the shape of a galleon. I don't even know what that word means, but they've got one. And how were your journeys here today? I know, Lady Francesca, that the barony of Surs is the furthest from Dakar. In so many ways. I thank you for your concern, my lady, but we made good time even with the extra carriage my father sent with my luggage. You had a whole carriage just for your clothes? Oh, but of course, did not you? Oh, our carriage is so large. My nurse said there was little point bringing more than a dozen dresses. Only a dozen? Why, it is almost as though you were poor. Indeed, you need at least 14, one for each day. You do not plan to change for dinner? I brought over 20. 20? Oh dear, Lady Charlotte, perhaps you can send home for some more. And you, Lady De Parisi? Oh, for goodness sake! I hardly know what Lady stoops to pack in her own luggage. Though I freely admit we all arrived in but one carriage, so I doubt it is more than a dozen. Besides, I heard from my mother that the king abhors extravagant displays. He believes those truly sure of their superiority show their standing in subtler ways. Oh, but of course, I merely preferred to have a selection at hand. Quite so. Oh, thank goodness. I was quite worried I was to be underdressed. My poor mother would have been so ashamed. Well, there is no need to have any concerns on that front, if you will excuse me, ladies. Oh. I make good my escape while I have the chance, and find myself a quiet spot against the wall to fend off the impending headache. 2 weeks of such pointless bickering looms ahead of me. Perhaps I should not have been so eager to dismiss Frederique off to cards. Still, I cannot hide here all night. There are a few other people in the room I recognize, and I spend the rest of the evening taking pains to greet them and renew my acquaintances with the rest of the court. Ah, there you are, sister. Things seem to be drawing to a close here. Shall I escort you back? Escort me? Don't tell me you actually plan to mind what Mother says. Not Mother, but I do think poor Bastien might collapse with nerves if I lost you. I won cards. Oh, well enough. There are some remarkably good players here, especially among the servants. Don't tell me you lost. Oh, just enough to keep me sharp. So, how did you like the prince? Very well. He seemed quite charming. Fine. He seemed very well reserved. Not at all. He bored me to tears. It does not matter. It is my duty to pursue him. He seemed all right. I would imagine it would take some time to know him better. Well, you have another 2 weeks to change your opinion, or fortify it. Did you meet anyone else of note? Dukes de Vesey paid his respects. The Duke of Tremaine. Oh, my mother would have a fit if she knew. What do you know of him? Only what Mother repeats, really. That he spends much of his time at court trying to rebuild his family's reputation and connections. Apparently, the king is almost warming to him. Well, he must be if the Duke managed to secure an invitation here. Outside of that, I know little more than rumors. I have met him only a handful of occasions. We hold company in different circles. You know how it is. Ah, and here is your room. Frederique leans forward to place a kiss upon my forehead and leave a lingering scent of sandalwood and brandy. Sleep well, Minette. The morning arrives along with a maid to help me dress, another bringing breakfast not long after we finished, and I'm on my second cup of tea when a familiar figure peers around the door. Good morning, sister. Did you sleep well? Really, my lord, you should knock before entering. Your sister could still have been abed. What nonsense. I'll never see the day Odette gets up later than I do. I slept well enough, thank you, Frederique. I have sparse cups here. Come and have some tea. The men approach, Frederique throwing himself into the nearest seat, while Bastien hovers awkwardly at the table. Well, sit down, then. I really should not. Oh, don't be ridiculous. Now we're here without my mother or your father breathing down our necks. We need not be so formal. Indeed. How do you like your tea? I could not possibly let a young lady of Odette's rank serve me. Rank indeed. You forget too easily that you are a gentleman in your own right, Bastien. Oh, fine. I shall do it then. Sugar or lemon? Frederique, you are getting tea everywhere. Sorry, sister. All right, Lady Odette, if you would be so kind. Bastien drops hastily into his seat and receives his cup with a nod so deep it is practically a bow. So, what is planned today? I believe the prince has arranged a walk about the palace gardens, followed by a picnic in the late afternoon. Oh good, another meal I get to sit and watch my sister starve. You know, right, Frederique? You're always kind about hiding food and napkins for me to eat afterwards. Well, please ensure that is the case on this occasion as well. I do not agree with these expectations. But it is not our place to judge them, and your behavior will be under ever greater scrutiny today. Don't let them watch. I shall show them only what they wish them to see. We're doing well so far. I would see you build upon this advantage. Fine, fine. You need not labor the point. Anyway, at what hour does the prince expect us? Oh, just before noon. Excellent. Well, I'm going to take a walk down to the kitchen and get some breakfast. Breakfast? But the maid just brought a tray to your room. You ate the lot. Oh, that wasn't enough for a growing boy like me. Would you like anything, sister? Oh, no, thank you. I will stay here and catch up on some reading. Well, please remain near the windows, my lady. I would not want you to get a headache. Eye strain and all that. Ashton's warnings jovially ignored, I take what entertainment I can from my free time while it lasts before my brother and I join the other guests at the palace steps as invited to set out on our walk about the gardens. Palace grounds are extensive with many wooded walks upon the outskirts, and I am quite enjoying the day, strolling beside my brother, the prince bringing up the rear of our group and swamped by a gaggle of simpering girls. A chorus of well-rehearsed giggling erupts behind us for the dozenth time. My brother throws a critical frown over his shoulder. I see he's as popular as ever. Should you not be back there too, sister, fluttering your eyelashes at him or some such nonsense? That which is lightly given is lightly valued. Let him work a little if he wants one of my smiles. Ha! We're wasted on this company. By this day, is that not Pierre Lamont walking beside that young woman ahead of us? I've not seen him since he left the university. I have heard he had married. That must be his wife. You can go speak with him if you like. You do not mind. Oh, come as well. I shall introduce you. Oh, no, I'm here for purpose, not pleasure. Go on, off with you, off with you. With an encouraging slap on the back behind him forward, my brother leaps from my side to jog lightly ahead and greet his friend, leaving me alone. I hardly mind the solitude. Solitude. Hours at home would be spent the same, usually by my mother's design, as I studied my lessons, played the harp, and even rode my horse without any useless distractions. The day is warm for the season, and I'm glad for the shade of trees, the occasional shaft of light breaking through the canopy to streak in gold across the gloom. Ahead, Lady Sophia is walking with a pair of stately older ladies who appear to be deep in talk. Charlotte, Francesca, and Albertine trailing after them, looking thoroughly bored, and I can see Duke Leopold strolling to my right, almost in the tree line. I suppose I could attempt to acquire another companion if I wished. Should I try to get Sophia's attention, or try to catch Leopold's eye? I could attempt to join Charlotte, Francesca, and Albertine, or I could just walk alone in my solitude. Now let's get, who's Sophia? Is that one girl, the commoner? I think that was her. Let's go with Leopold. The Duke notices me, glance to him, and closes the distance between us with easy strides and smile to match. My Lady Odette, you are alone. At the moment, at least. I fear my brother has abandoned me for an old university friend. You know how that is. Ah, well then, please allow me to escort you until his return. After all, who knows what horrors could befall a lady of yours standing here, surrounded by people in broad daylight. There is a sneer to his tone, though. By the lightness to his eyes, it is not directed at me. I feel safer already. I am glad you're here, but for all my barbed talk, it is a pleasure to meet you again. I hope you enjoyed the ball a little better after I left your company. I passed the time well enough, thank you. I'm glad to hear it. I would hate King Augusta, to think you were not pleased to be here. That word always trips me up, I don't know why. The way it's spelled. My calm facade cracks a little at that. Of all the warnings my mother pressed upon me in the last fortnight, her most sincere has always involved mention of the king. I wonder why His Majesty should care what someone such as I thinks about anything. Well, perhaps care is not the word, but he will have noted your behavior, just as he notes all that happens here at court. Well, let us talk of pleasanter matters. Are you enjoying the walk out today? It is nice enough, though I'm too delicate to walk far. I wish there was a little bit more to do. I prefer more cerebral diversions. Reading, music, and the like. Reading? Oh, I'm surprised to hear you admit you know how. I am sure the court won't like the sound of that. Next you'll be telling me you indulge in the rare opinion of your own. No, just occasionally. Duke Leopold straightened slightly. I sensed change in topic. I am surprised you caught my eye, though. I would have thought your mother would have left you with strict instructions to avoid such disfavored company at all costs. She was more concerned with pressing upon me the importance of whose company I should be seeking to make much mention of whose I should not. Yes, I can imagine she was. Would she pleased to see you now, I wonder? I guess the answer to that is a hefty no. I rather doubt it, my lord. You seem quick to defy her. By that measure, so do you. Of course. As any here would tell you, I'm trying to expunge my house's own shame by association with a family of great repute. And they do not come more favored than the Parises. Oh, one would think that would be all the more reason to remain on my mother's good side, then. Not if I mean to bypass the Duchess's grace and seek instead her daughter's alliance. I must choke in my shock. Is that the truth? He smiles and sighs bitterly. It will be the narrative you will hear most often this afternoon, I would imagine. But I can see your honored brother is returning to your side, and you have no longer any need of me. Until next we meet, my lady. Oh. He bows politely and quickens his pace, his back soon lost among the other guests as my brother reaches my side, his face wearing a look of wary concern. Was that the Duke of Tremaine again? What did he want? My answer sticks in my throat, too opprobrious to be repeated. Just to keep me company while you were away. It was nothing. Nothing it may be to you or me, but to the others here, just gossip. Just take care, sister. The Duke is a cunning one. I can see as much even without Mother's lectures. He has worked tirelessly since the death of his father to return his family to some semblance of a standing at court, and I do not believe there is any course he would not take to reach his goal. I say nothing, and my brother clearly interprets my silence for distress of some kind, Frederique taking my hand to loop it gently about his arm. Do not dwell on it, sister. The court may delight in such nonsense, but forgets it all quickly enough, too. Our walk concluded, the prince leads us back to where the servants have already set out a grand picnic on the palace lawns. My brother finds us a place beside me, Duke Leopold and Lady Sophia seating themselves across from us, while the prince is surrounded by as many young ladies can fit upon a picnic blanket. And the group settles to enjoy the feast. Well, everyone but the eligible young ladies, of course. Oh, nothing for me, thank you. I am still full from breakfast. You managed breakfast? Why, I couldn't take a bite since dinner yesterday. You ate yesterday? Why, I haven't been able to force another morsel since that early supper 3 weeks ago last Wednesday. Oh, we're such a smart aleck. I love it. Gosh, really, I should be terribly hungry. As would I, Lady Charlotte, and to think the kitchens went to such trouble to prepare this banquet for us, and no one wants to eat anything. That is to say, perhaps I could enjoy a little food. Indeed, it would be a shame to waste it. About me, the ladies all leaned forward to hover over the arrangement of dishes. A silent war declared and battled as each attempts to select the most minute morsel and then make it last the same length of time as a 4-course dinner. I don't even bother with that. I know from experience that eating only a little here will leave me ravenous, and I distract myself with thoughts of the slightly squashed feast I know my brother will be fishing from his pockets for me later. On the blanket opposite, Albertine lowers a nibbled pastry to her plate and sighs dreamily. The gardens here are so beautiful. I wish I could walk about them for longer. Oh, I'm sure no one here would wish to impede your pleasure, Lady Albertine. By all means, take your leave. Ha ha! That I could, Lady Francesca, but I fear I could not walk another step today. We cannot all be blessed with such robust a constitution as yourself. The prince's shoulders bob in what could have been the slightest of sighs, and I felt pity swell in my heart. Pray, which part of the gardens did you favor most, Lady Albertine? Sorry? Oh, well, I liked them all in such a myriad of ways. I could hardly select just one. Was there a particular area of the grounds you enjoyed, Lady Odette? The woods. I like the feeling one can lose oneself in them. The topiary, it was ordered and yet fantasized. The rose garden, I imagine it would be breathtaking in bloom. The covered trellises, the blooming azaleas leave a divine scent. The lawns, I prefer more open spaces for walking and games. You know what? I am a sucker for roses, let me tell you. And that's exactly what we're going to do, the rose garden. Oh yes, that does sound lovely. At home, Mother fills the whole house with roses as the season allows. I pity your family does not have the means for a hothouse. Then your mother could enjoy them all year round. Yeah, that's that. Boy, she likes to do that. Oh, well, you're not quite as rich as me, but... As for myself, I prefer... A bee! Oh no, don't let it come near me! I'm scared, get it away. Ah! It is merely a bee. Even alone, it plays an important role in this garden. Yeah. Well, pollinates the flowers. But it is a horrid creature. Okay, it's a bee. Alright. Well, that is a matter of opinion. But the fact is that half the flowers here would not bloom so well were it not for bees and other such insects and all their efforts in cross-pollination. Oh man, he's gonna think we have like a brain now. Uh-oh. And we all like honey well enough. That's true, honey is delicious. Charlotte persists to look confused. Perhaps she does not know from where honey comes. Francesca, however... My, how you talk, Lady Di Parisi, just like my stuffy old tutor. I can hardly understand all those long words you use. Like honey? Speaking of which, these glazed pastries are a specialty of our kitchens. Will you try one, Lady Albertine? The group returns to their own conversations once more, Sophia edging closer to me. Do you favor horticulture, Lady Odette? Oh, I do not know if favorite is the word, but I find it interesting. In truth, I find a great many things interesting, whether they be considered horrid or not. I must admit to finding the workings of the natural world quite fascinating. You know, I heard the late Queen liked to raise orchids. Perhaps we could ask the Prince to show us the hothouses. That would be... That is to say, I would enjoy such a tour, but I do not imagine it would give the right impression. Thank you, though, for thinking of me. Sophia smiles, and we spend the rest of the picnic talking about the many plants we have seen during the day before the sunset ushers our group back into the palace. Ah, you have returned. Indeed, though we almost did not make it after that terrifying bee attack. You should have seen it. This is big. The party was swarmed by bees. Oddly, there was one, and it was mostly minding its own business. All the girls were shrieking and crying, and then Odette just ups and gives them a lecture on the importance of insect pollination. It was great. Bastien breathes a gentle sigh. Lady Odette. Oh, don't fret, the prince hardly noticed. No, but that Veneti girl was quick to defend you. The pair of you were chatting away for the rest of the picnic after that. Well, there is nothing planned for this evening, so I would suggest you use the time to get some rest and retire early. Shall I ask the maid to serve my dinner in here? Oh, please do. My brother bounds from the room with his usual exuberance. Bastien's stately bow could not be in greater contrast. Well, I shall retire to my own quarters, my lady. You are not having dinner with us? The man moused a moment, as though my words have just yanked him onto dry land. I do not think that it would be appropriate, my lady. Why? That is... Or is it that you do not think that my mother or your father would consider it appropriate? Because they would not. But then they are not here. He struggles with himself a moment longer, a blush coloring his cheeks as he finally acquiesces. I would very much like to have dinner with you and Lord Frederique. Good then, I shall inform the maid. I head for the bell, a sudden recollection halting me. Oh, I meant to ask, how is Master Bertrand? My father? It is as though a cloud passes over his eyes, his expression for an instant dark, before a mild smile returns once more. He's getting better. His mind is as sharp as it ever was, and now he grows physically stronger by the day. It is hard watching loved ones age and the trials that accompany it. Indeed, but he has been fortunate. The stroke was a mild one, and your family could not have been kinder, allowing even your own physician to tend him. And why should we not? Master Bertrand has served our house faithfully as steward since before I was born. He is like family, both of you are. He would be proud to hear you say such, my lady. I believe his only lingering regret is that He has not yet recovered enough, and I had to be sent here with you in his place. I mean no insult to your father when I say I prefer it this way. Besides, if ever there were a chance to prove yourself, Bastien, this would surely be it. I will never surpass my father. I was not referring to Master Bertrand. I meant a chance to prove yourself to you, Bastien. Well... The door saves Bastien from his stammering. Well, that is the maid told, sister. Oh, Bastien, you're joining us too. Yes. Sorry, Frederique. It was just agreed upon now. I shall go on. No, sister. Pray remain there. I can catch the maid now if I hurry. You two get the first hand up. We have time for a few rounds of gin rummy before they serve dinner. Oh, I love gin rummy. Can I play? That was it. Thank you for playing. I like that. That was fun. That was a fun game. Little demo. Even though she looks kind of derpy in that picture. But that's okay. It's just the eyes. It's fine. I enjoyed it. There were some errors here and there. You know, texts and stuff. And words are missing. But that's not a huge deal. They're pretty minor. I really had a lot of fun with that. And I hope you all did too. You check the game out when it launches on April 6th. Well, that's what he says in the developer comments anyway. He says he's trying to shoot for that date. Who knows if he's actually going to hit it. But he seems pretty confident since it's so soon. So with that being said, that is the end of the quick look. And I will see you all next time and have a good day.